YouTube, it's Sensei Cuba here, and I'm back with another video finally. It's been a very, very, very long time, I know, but you know, adult life, don't grow up. So anyways, this video is going to be a story time. It's going to be about how I got started in the cubing. I'm going to go ahead and try and do a few solves while I try to tell the story at the same time. That's kind of hard to do because, you know, you need to focus. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. The story isn't that long, so I'll probably pause here and there and just tell the story or just do the solves. I don't know. But it's not a fantastic, interesting story. It's real short. So anyways, let's go ahead and get to the story. So basically it was back in like 2010, and I was in like this summer program, this college prep program basically. And so we meet all kinds of people on a trip, and I seen this girl, and she just so happened to bring 18. She just so happened to bring a Rubik's Cube with her. So she was messing with her or whatever, and me and her was already friends, kind of, sort of, because we met over the summer. So I was like, oh, you know how to solve that, because, you know, all throughout my life, I ain't never seen nobody solve the cube, and, you know, I didn't think, I thought it was solvable, but I never saw it happen, so I didn't, you know, really believe that it was actually solvable. I just thought it was a puzzle that go on forever and ever, you know. But anyway, so basically she was solving it, and I can tell because some pieces was fitting, and I think she actually solved it a few times. But as far as I can remember, she was actually learning herself, so I was like, you know, while she's learning, she can go ahead and teach me. So anyway, she didn't have a problem with that, so she went ahead and showed me what she knew. 20. She was showing me what she knew, so she basically was learning a beginner's method or whatever. And if I can remember, I want to say she did know how to solve the whole thing. But anyways, she was, you know, since she was teaching me, I didn't get through the whole cube. And the trip was like a week, but I think by the time she started showing me, we was halfway through the week. But she was teaching me, and I was probably like on a second layer, and that's where I was kind of getting stuck. You know, I was just learning and figuring out what the terms were, algorithms, you know, corner edges, stuff like that. So anyway, she was teaching me the very basics, and so the trip was over with, and so I was like, wow, that was just like so cool, because I seen how she was able to solve it. And so I was like, you know what, that's a cool little skill right there. So I was like, I need to try and solve it myself and figure out the rest, because by the time the summer was over with, me and her kind of lost touch. So the trip was over with. I got back home and I went to Walgreens. I don't know if that's where a lot of cubers started out and bought their cubes, but you know, I ain't know nothing about speed cubes. So I was like, let me get a Rubik's Cube. So I went to Walgreens, because as far as I can remember, they had one. I forgot how much it was. But, you know, it was that big old blocky cube that nobody wants nowadays. No speed cuber wants. And at that time, it wasn't a speed cube Rubik's brand. It was a Rubik's Cube with stickers, poor quality stickers. And just so big, bulky, and blocky. But at the time, I didn't know about speed cubing. So anyways, so you know, I did what any other speed cuber would do, or curious cuber, whatever, would do, and I hopped on YouTube. And I think that's how she told me that she learned, that she got on YouTube. I was like, duh, why didn't I think of that? I don't know this one. Oh, I do. 21. I thought that was the other one. So I average of 5 was 20. I don't know if you got the first off. But so yeah, I went to Walgreens and got the big blocky cube, and I hopped on YouTube, and there it was. It was tutorials. A long time ago, my brother had a cube, and I was messing with it, and didn't know how to figure it out. There was no instructions. It was just a cube laying around, and I didn't think to jump on YouTube at the time. I wasn't. Whenever you see the cube, you just pick it up and mess with it because it's a puzzle, it's a brain thing. So you literally try to figure it out. So, anyways, back to YouTube. So I got on YouTube, and I think I solved it that same day. Well, it might have took 2 days, as far as I can remember. I think it took 2 days. So, and the moment I started learning, I was hooked. I did not want to stop because it was just so interesting, surprisingly, because I think the fact of knowing that you can actually solve this puzzle that nobody could solve, nobody, it was just so cool because I was like, wow, you actually can solve it. So let me go ahead and try and get this solved. And I finally, got through all the little beginner steps, and I was using that Mephisto. I think I said it right, but 26. That Mephisto video. He was really, really good at explaining it. I got it very clearly. At one point, excuse me, I think the PLL was where it got tricky. But I used him. He was good, and I think I used him the whole entire time. But I believe I solved it in like 2 days. I want to say I did it again after that. I was like, oh, I actually solved it. I showed my mom and all, and I was proud, and I felt all special. So I messed it up, and I'm pretty sure I used a tutorial again to learn how to solve it, because I couldn't, I didn't have it stuck in my memory just yet. So yeah, I messed it up and did it again, and I was just so fascinated. And so excuse me. So oh man. So yeah, I probably played around with it a few times. I just messed up. And eventually, I started remembering the steps. That was horrible. 34. I started remembering the steps. And so, I had to write down some of the algorithms, or I would replay the video back and over again. So, anyway, skip the tutorial part. So, I did all that. And then after I finally got it memorized, I just went ahead and, started recording myself and started, I think I only posted 1 or 2 videos of me solving it. And that was probably a minute or a little over a minute when I was timing myself, trying to double flick a Rubik's brand cube, hurting my fingers, getting calluses and whatnot. So, yeah, I started recording myself because I thought it was cool. I made little videos, nothing special, just me solving it, and I put it up on YouTube. And at the time, it was just a kid solving a Rubik's cube, but I did show my friends, and nobody could solve a cube. So when you show your friends, they just freak out and they just go ballistic, like, she just solved it, so everybody was so hyped. And of course, like at one time at school, I used it as a project, assignment. And of course, the class asked me to solve it. So, which I did. And once again, everybody just went crazy. And it was just the best moment ever, because the moment, like, it was quiet. Everybody was watching me. And the moment I finished it, the whole class just like screamed, and I felt like I just won an Emmy or something, or a Grammy, whatever. And it was like 28, very special moment. I was like, wow, like, it was just cool, and I found it as a great talent. So, I think when I started looking at other tutorials or just watching other people solve, that's how I found out about speed cubing. I was like, this is a thing? Like, this is a sport or whatever? So, okay, I'm watching other speed cubers, and I'm like, how are they getting it this fast? You know, under a minute. And I'm like, how are they moving a cube so fast? So, you know, I watched other videos, and they was talking about lubing their cube, and I'm like, okay, at the time it was like silicone spray, or the whatever DW, that 50, whatever, that blue can, I forgot what it's called, but I didn't have that. You know what I used? I didn't have silicone spray either, I don't think. So I just used Sheen spray. That's all I had. You know, I didn't have that stuff just lying around, so I used Sheen spray in my cube. And it got a little greasy. I was all happy, and I was like, oh snaps, my cube about to be faster. So I put that in there. It felt a little faster to me, you know, and I was just trying to fly through my cube like all the other cubers, and so it kind of did make a difference. But I was like, nah, there's other stuff. So 22. So I was watching more videos, and people was taking their cubes apart, and also at that time they was like, I guess you could say, modifying it. They was taking out the pieces and sanding it so it would be less catching. And then that's when I kind of got into hearing about speed cubes, you know, the actual speed cubes. People wasn't using Rubik's brands, you know. I'm over here, I didn't know about the different kind of brands and speed cubing and speed cubes and all that. So it's like, you know, so we heard about the Zanchi and all that, Diane's Zanchi, and I was like, so basically I did my research, found out there was other cubes. Cubes are faster, they're built for speed cubing. So my very first, I was going to make a video on that, and I still might, but my very first speed cube was the YJ Yulong, and that cube to me now is trash. I kind of didn't like it when I first got it, but of course it was a big difference from the Rubik's brand. But the YJ Yulong, that was my first speed cube, and so once again I got the cube, and I just felt so special. I was like, oh, look at me, you know, I'm a speed cuber now. And so and then I think right after that I got the I got the Moyu Aolong V2. And then that's when I started getting the speed cubing, and then my Instagram account. It was a personal account, and then I turned it into a cubing account because I started finding other cubers, and there was this cubing community. I was like, what? Like, this is... I did not know speed cubing and Rubik's cubes and cubes was this big. I really didn't. So that's how I got into the Instagram and changing my name and, you know, posting about Rubik's cubes and speed cubes, because this is a legit thing. And then, like, also on YouTube, I was watching competitions, like people solving at comps. I'm like, there's comps for this, you know? Why didn't I know about this before? I would have been got started. So yeah, I mean, that's my story. Basically, a girl taught me, but she didn't, I don't think she was able to teach me the whole thing. So when the trip was over with, I went home, and I basically finished where I was left off at, and that's my story. Let me try and finish this off. 26. That's because I was talking. But so yeah, that's my story. And I was cubing technically for a long time. 7 years now? 2010. So I've been cubing for a long time. But I've been speed cubing probably like a little over a year maybe, because my first comp was last year in 2016, Dayton, Ohio, I believe. Yeah, so that's how I got in the speed cubing. And I'm so, like, I really am grateful I got into that, because for one, it's a cool hobby. Two, you can amaze anybody on the street, because everybody heard of the Rubik's Cube, and most likely nobody was able to solve it. So it's a cool little hobby, and just something cool to show people, you know, kind of entertain and keep myself occupied. Sorry. When I talk too much, my throat gets scratchy and I start coughing, having coughing attacks. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. It's a cool hobby, and I'm just so glad I got into it, because when I was younger, I was always into, like, finding something to do and having a skill too of some sort. And I used to draw. That was my hobby, but eventually that got old. And so yeah, I got into speed cubing, and nobody I knew how to solve it. So I was like, you know, that's different. I want to stand out, and it just opened up a whole door. Like, and you know, you can have a lot of recognition within this. Like, if you are really good, obviously, like Felix, Max, Lucas, so on and so forth, you can this can be a career. It really can. So I'm grateful for this, and it's a learning experience, because you can organize comps, you can attend comps, you can make friends. You know, it's way more than just a cube. You know, it's way more. So once again, that's my story. Not much to it, but that's how I got started. During this little solve, I was using my VOC 3M. I could have done way better, but I was talking. It was just a story time and just something to do. But if you enjoyed my story, my short little story, like this video, leave a comment down below of how you like it. If you want to tell me your little cubing story, let me know, and I would like to know about that, because I've always been interested in how other cubers got started, because there's many different ways to get started in the cubing. You know, in the speed cubing, there's all kinds of stories out there. So I'm interested, if you know. So let me know how you got started, and I'll see you next video.